Welcome, loyal subjects, to another episode of The Completionist, as we bring you our top 10 selections of the games from E5.
Freezer.
E3. The selections that we have chosen are only the ones that we have decided upon our visit to E5.
Freezer.
E3. It varies from all kinds of companies. Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, whatever we find, whatever we discover as our choices of E5.
Freezer.
This top 10 is going to be a little different. It's not so much a top 10 as it is a top 5 of both Greg and I, adding to 10. 5 from me, 5 from Greg, that's 10. Greg and I will go back and forth comparing our favorite games that we found at E3. Now on this list you'll also see a few games that we actually really liked, but we were kind of disappointed with the overall result of the demo. As a reminder, most of these games are still in alpha and beta, so it's hard to say what game is going to be the best. Either way, here's Greg's top 5 games of E3 and my top 5 games of E3.
5.
Now this selection is a tad outside of my usual zone of interests. Generally, I'm not the biggest fan of first-person shooters. In middle school and high school, though, I pretty much played them exclusively. The go-to game my friends and I played was the original Counter-Strike. It was the classic Cops vs. Robber's Tale. That is what has gotten me interested in Hardline. Not only that, it is set in a city close to my heart, Los Angeles. The heightened sense of reality is pretty interesting as well. Realism, when it comes to the situations taking place, was not the main aim when EA decided to develop this game. My final note on this title is that when I was watching the release trailer, I was a tad bit frightened. Graphics are getting so realistic these days that it was a little scary seeing Los Angeles getting racked with explosions and gunfire. Nonetheless, this is a title that I will give a shot when it's released.
Number 4. Many of you may remember our show that we once had called Here Comes a New Challenger. We only shot 2 episodes of the show because people really wanted me to complete the games instead of just normally reviewing them. In the second episode of that show, I had the lucky treat of playing Far Cry 3 weeks before it came out, and I have to say, I was super impressed. So when they showed off that scene in the press conference of the villain of Far Cry 4 full-on stabbing his own henchmen, I knew I was ready for another Voss-like character to go up against, and with Far Cry 4, it's very much if it ain't broke, don't fix it. My playstyle in these types of games are generally run and gun, but in Far Cry 4, there are multiple ways of liberating a base. Flying by a single-man helicopter, maybe riding an elephant, or just the sneaky way of murdering all the guards. Either way, I'm pleased to personally say, after playing Far Cry 4 for several hours, I cannot wait to pick it up. Although now that I think about it, after playing it, I did feel there was not really an improvement from the overall progress of 3. I felt like I was playing Far Cry 3 HD, if that makes any sense. I'm sure it'll get better towards the release date, because the changes that are there are fantastic, and they will only go bigger and more in-depth. Hopefully.
4.
Here's another title that has caught me off guard. For the last few years, I've been very disinterested in the Assassin's Creed series as a whole. It was the game that was always at E3, and I had grown quite tired of it. It really does feel like only a year or less has passed each time a new one is released. This time, it's different. The timeline of the game takes place during the French Revolution, and dang, does it look amazing! The French Revolution was a very interesting and horrifying time that always seems to be brushed over in many history classes in the US. 18th century France has been replicated in amazing detail, and to be honest with you, the only reason why I want to play this game is just to run around the city. We were also told that 35% of the buildings have interiors, including Notre Dame. Unfortunately, it's next gen only, so I might just have to grab me a PS4 after all.
Number 4.
Mario Maker truly blew me away with its creativity and big strides. For those of you who have been following the Super Beer Brothers channel, we've been playing a ton of Kaizo Mario lately, which is a ROM hack of Mario World. Nintendo is giving the players the ability to create their own Mario 8-bit levels, and it's very well done. It's so fun to see all those old assets transfer over so well to the Wii U. 2 more things I loved about it real quick. You can switch back and forth seamlessly between 8-bit NES Mario World and New Mario Bros. U World. It lets you flex your modern-day Mario designer skills. and they theme the whole thing in the style of Mario Paint. We're gonna kill flies again for no reason, there's gonna be dogs to click on, it is going to be rad.
3.
So instead of a regular number 3, I just wanted to touch on something I was greatly looking forward to, and I ended up getting let down by. Sunset Overdrive was a standout title to me from the Microsoft conference. It looked like it was a refreshing change of pace that seemed like a mix of Dead Rising and Jet Set Radio with a little cocaine and punk rock thrown in. I was pretty jazzed to play it, and it was actually the first game at E3 I played. However, when I finally got to play it, I had little to no fun at all. To me, the controls seemed very unintuitive and fairly complex. I really wanted to do the seamless grinding and shooting that I saw in the trailer, but I could not make it happen. I will say a couple of things about the entire situation though. I was only allowed to play it for 10 minutes or less because it was packed. Also, I think that my main issues with it may be caused by it just not being a game that harbors my playstyle. There's just so much going on at once, and I couldn't handle it. Perhaps the actual release of this game will be better, but we'll just have to wait and find out.
3.
The Binding of Isaac is a game that everyone tells me I need to complete constantly. No matter what I do, it's constantly spammed and yelled at me over and over and over again to play it. And Edmund McMillan and I have been in close talks about the completionist hellhole that awaits for me in the console release version of The Binding of Isaac called The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. This game has gotten a huge major repolish shine with more 8 to 16-bit crisp sprites, the music has changed quite a bit, giving it more of an adult feeling, and there's even a co-op feature. I know this isn't really a new game, but for Binding of Isaac pros and fans out there, Rebirth will feel like a brand new experience. And there's going to be so many things to collect, just, oh my lord, it's going to be a pain in my ass.
Here's a title that really feels different. It brings so many new ideas to the table, it makes me want to go out and buy a PS Vita. Metrico is an indie puzzle game that throws you straight into itself. There are no instructions right from the get-go, and the entire game is trial and error. Because of this, there are many aha moments when you feel really intelligent for solving the puzzle. Sometimes it can make you feel pretty dumb too. Anyways, it's set in a colorful, side-scrolling type world. Puzzles are solved by using every capable control available to the Vita. When you throw headphones on, you are completely immersed in the world of Metrico. Just go play it. Man, after talking about it, I really want that Vita.
Number 2.
Okay, so here's the deal. I still haven't played Metal Gear Solid 2 through 4. The first Metal Gear I played was for the show last year. I own all of them in different formats, and the only reason why I haven't played them all in recent years is because I don't have all the time in the world to be completing all the Metal Gears back to back. However, while we were at E3, Konami let us into a private screening of the latest build of their game, and I wish I could show you guys what it looked like, because it just made me so ready for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. The beautiful graphics at the very least will blow your mind. Kojima paints this wonderful picture of destruction that makes me now want to go back and play all those games in a row, no matter how much time it's going to take me. There's some really cool features here they showed off in the trailer that unfortunately I don't have footage for, but I'll try and be brief about. Big Boss gets this technologically savvy cigar that allows time to pass around him. Everything changes, the weather, the time of day, the shifts for the guards you have to take out. This really shows off the complexity of the Fox engine at its greatest. The other great new feature they showed off is the Fulton system, a helicopter-type inverted parachute device that lets you ship things right then and there to your base, including people and animals. Want a Jeep? Boom, take it. Want this guard to join your team? Knock him out, send him with the Fulton. Do you want this cute, lovable sheep to go back in your base? Fulton it!
This game, I was blown away when I saw the trailer, and I was blown away when I actually played it. This is a 4 vs 1 first-person shooter. Huh, I've got 2 on my list. Maybe I'm having a change of heart. Anywho, this one seems very unique. there are 4 classes that must work together to defeat their common enemy. There's the medic, who heals, the assault, who deals the most damage, the support, who can do recon as well as put out some good damage, and the trapper, who traps. Now, what are all these folks trying to kill? A giant freaking monster! Even better is the monster is not an NPC, but is being controlled by another player. The monster has to eat and grow stronger and can eventually evolve, thus the name. When the monster evolves a few times, he becomes super powerful and just wrecks everything. However, it seems if there is a skilled team trying to take it down, the monster is easily defeated. In the future, there will be more playable monsters, which will add an extra level of excitement to the game. Imagine not knowing what giant beast you're dealing with until it jumps out of a cave and smacks you across the map. Too cool.
The ultimate #1!
All you guys saw this coming from a mile away, right? With #1. I mean, come on, let's be real. I've been playing this game for 15 years since it came out, and the fact that we have a 4th installment, it is going to rock. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Without a doubt, I played Smash Bros. More than any game at E3, and I'm talking spending hours and hours at the Smash booths. Sure, I saw almost every game available both behind closed doors and on the floors of the convention center, but the only one that made me come back time in and time again was Super Smash Bros. I was at the Smash Bros. Invitational, I saw everyone duke it out on stage. On the show floor, if you competed at the various booths and won, you got a free Smash Bros. T-shirt. They even had a huge Titantron-type stage area where only true Nintendo fans could go and line up to compete and win a golden Smash Bros. Medal, which I did, and I won. I don't really believe in saying things like believe in the hype, but guys, believe it. Little Mac and Mega Man fit perfectly into the whole lineup of awesome characters, and all of the improvements made to the balance of the game thus far have been wonderful. It feels faster than Brawl, but a bit slower than Melee, and that's okay. Sakurai did a fantastic job with this game, and it's so close to coming out on 3DS and later on this year for Wii U. I have to admit, I felt awkward at first playing with the 3DS, but with a little button mapping, I can tell that Smash Bros. For 3DS will be perfect. And something tells me that what was in the demo at E3 wasn't even 5% of what the actual game will eventually become.
And there you have it!
Freezer!
And there you have it. Our top 10 selections for E5's
Freezer!
It's our top 10 E3 selections video you just watched. Thank you for being here. We'll see you guys next year for more shenanigans for E3. E3 2015.
Freezer!